This episode is sponsored by Helix Sleep. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the build. Happy November. It's already November. Today, and actually, this episode's gonna be a few days long. We have the finishing of the framing, and then we'll have probably the start of insulation. So we have our framing inspection today, and before we're ready for that, we have our little punch list of things to do. We have some more nailing to do to finalize some installation, and we also have the wind braces, which will brace the end of the building through the purlins there. So those need to go in before our framing inspection. That is at 3 o'clock. So we should be done by then. Let's hope. And then tomorrow, after the building is inspected for framing, the framing inspection is sometimes also the pre-installation inspection. So the frame is inspected before it gets covered with insulation. Tomorrow, the insulators will be here to start on the spray foam, and they'll do the ceiling first. And they may keep going and do the walls this week, or they might come back later and do the walls at a later time. So as we are getting ready to go here, I thought I'd answer one kind of question or make a remark on some of the comments that I saw as we were working. So people, either just genuinely curiously or negatively asking, or saying, you guys bounce around a lot. How come you guys don't just stick on one thing and just go all the way through? So a lot of the times it's going to deal with the help we have that day and the jobs that make sense for the number of people we have helping on that day. And if there's any variability in the people that are here helping, they'll dictate what we do that day. So if you see us jumping around a lot, it's to best utilize the labor that we have here on that day. Some jobs are good for 3 people, some are good for 2. And if we have 4 people, there's not a whole lot of 4-person jobs, but there are a lot of 2-person jobs that we can split up into 2 teams. So there's the building. We're gonna get the lift in here and get started. Okay. All the way up there. Okay, all of the wind braces are installed on both ends, all 8 of them. And now we're going around and just doing the final little detail work on the cross braces. So they all need some blocking in here, anywhere they're not touching a girt, so that blocking goes in and everything gets nailed and finalized. While we're having our framing inspection, let me tell you about this video sponsor, Helix Sleep. A good night's sleep has always been important to me, but it's been especially important lately with this barn build. Being out here working all day and then working on the videos at night doesn't leave me much time for sleep. So lately, it's definitely been quality over quantity. And that's why I'm excited about working with Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and shipped conveniently to your door. So everyone's a little bit different, and Helix knows that. They've made a great quiz to match your unique body type and sleep preferences to make the perfect mattress for you. And if you sleep with a partner, you can even take the sleep quiz together and find something that's a perfect compromise for both of you. I'm a side sleeper and I like a softer mattress, and Lindsay is a stomach sleeper and prefers a more medium mattress. Based on the results from the quiz, Helix matched us with their Moonlight Luxe mattress. We've had our Helix mattress for about 4 months now, and both Lindsay and myself are still really impressed with how well we're actually sleeping through the night. The mattress is super comfortable, and we're both really happy with the firmest level of the mattress. Our backs and entire bodies feel really well supported, and it's really easy to just drift off at night. In the morning, we wake up fully refreshed and ready to take on the day. Ordering the mattress was super easy, and the online quiz made the process super streamlined. Once you order the mattress, a few days later it showed up in a box and was really easy to unbox and set up. With your Helix Sleep mattress, you get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 10-year warranty, and there are financing options and flexible payment plans. You get more than 3 months to make sure you love it, and if you don't, they'll pick it up from you and you'll get a full refund. The best part about this is that Helix delivers your mattress right to your door for free within the US. It comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to set up yourself. I love sleeping on my Helix, and I think you will too, so if you're looking for a new bed, definitely check out Helix. You can click the link below or go to helixsleep.com/Cremona for up to $200 off your Helix Sleep mattress and 2 free pillows. Thank you Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to work on the barn. Yeah, our framing inspection was good, so now we're doing this.
Doing this. Yay!
Well, we had
Let's
the
see
lift.
if I can knock the camera down.
You probably can. Wait till everybody sees you knocking off a truck yesterday.
I didn't place it on the truck. Let's be really clear about that.
A little more trim done and out of the way, so that roof line is now complete. I think Donovan wants to work on getting the trim around this door tomorrow and the trim around the other door tomorrow as well, while they are in here doing the spray foam. So with the framing inspection complete, they can come in here tomorrow and start doing the spray foam. I'm not sure if they're going to do the whole building tomorrow, or this is a multiple day job. I don't know if they're going to do the whole building this week or just the roof. Because the lift is still here, they're going to use the lift to do the ceiling, because then I don't have to pay them to rent a lift. So it kind of worked out okay that we ran long on the lift rental, because I'm saving money on the installation. So that's what we're going to see tomorrow, is the installation process, and the ceiling should be done tomorrow, because that lift is getting picked up to go back the day after. Because on Thursday, today is Tuesday, on Thursday, that's the end of the 2-month rental period, and I'm not rolling it over into another rental period. I'm done with that. Okay, they're here this morning and getting started. So they kind of decided to change plans a little bit on how they're going to go about doing this, because this is apparently a little bit bigger job than they had thought. Can't see anything in there. So we'll talk about that in a second. There we go. So they're getting going on that. as they're getting started this morning, I'm hauling this. So we'll come back and check on them once they have a little more progress. Hello there.
Hi!
Look, they're doing something.
They're doing it.
There it is. So this is gonna be a lot of spraying. So we'll check back in a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about methodology, thought process, costs, all that fun stuff. Okay, I'm back and it's super windy. Like, really windy. All right, more chair kits. Your truck's right there. Oh, get a little heavy there? Well, here's the progress on the spray foam. They got basically the ceiling of that first bay done, and they're starting on the ceiling of the second bay kind of now. And we're just kind of getting things a little more staged as far as the stuff goes. So back to the spray foam. I'm not really sure what happened with the scheduling and the lift arrangements. So they came out and did the final estimate on the job on Monday, and they were saying that they would have like a day or day and a half to do the whole roof, which is what we had left on the lift rental. But then the crew showed up and they said that it's probably going to be more like 4 days just for the roof. So the lift rental is going to be extended, which we know whatever. Whatever at this point. So this is going to be a longer process, but they're going to keep working through and get the whole thing done in one shot. Originally they were thinking they would just do like the roof and then come back later and do the wall, but they're just going to roll through and do the entire building in one go here. So we're doing closed cell spray foam on the whole building, and closed cell spray foam provides a really good air barrier, so we won't have any air leakage or drafts or leaks, which is going to be really nice in the summer when I try to keep the humidity out of the shop, because I'm trying to store dried lumber in here. I'm trying to keep, at least in the summer, try to keep some of that moisture out of here. As far as thickness, we are doing 3 inches on the roof and then 2 inches in the wall. So closed cell spray foam has an R value of about 7 per inch. So we'll have 21 in the ceiling or in the roof and then 14 on the walls, which I think is going to do me just fine because I'm not planning on heating this building to like livable space conditions. So I don't think I'll have it like at room temperature all winter. I'll have it more at a lower holding temperature. And I think that amount of foam, coupled with the fact that it's much more efficient form of insulation because it doesn't have any sort of air leakage, I think I should be pretty fine with what I have here. The sort of nice thing is you can always spray more on top of it. It's not really practical once the building has things in it to add more foam, but you can always add more insulation in the future if needed. So the way the pricing goes for these is they set a base price for the first inch, and then you pay a lower cost per inch for every subsequent inch. So the surface area of the building is about 8,000 square feet. It's roughly 4,000 square feet for the roof and then 4,000 square feet for the walls. So to spray 1 inch over the entire building was going to be $16,000, and then you can add another inch for $1 a square foot. So every inch that I add to the entire building is another $8,000. So I added an additional inch on the walls and then 2 inches in the ceiling. So that brings the total cost to around $28,000 to spray the entire building. So here's how far they got yesterday. I think the plan for today is to finish up this last bay, the walls, and this little bit of roof over here. Because later today, we'll start moving the stuff in from outside into here because we're going to have rain, I think, overnight or tomorrow morning. So I want to get everything in here and out of the rain. So once this is done here, we can start staging things in here, and we'll put some drop cloths on the stuff. And then I won't have to move that again until the concrete guys come back to seal the floor. But they're getting there. The acoustics are changing. That's nice. Okay, it's Wednesday. This will be their 5th day here. They had equipment issues last Friday, so it was a partial day. And then Monday was fixing whatever broke. And this is what they have left. Just a little bit more to go. They should be finished up in well, by this afternoon. So there is the completed installation. It's all done, and that is that's checked off the list. The acoustics are quite a bit different now. There's still a fair amount of echo, but when it was just all steel panels, the echo was like almost unbearable. This is echoey, but I don't feel like I'm gonna go crazy listening to myself, which is nice. So at some point we'll come back and install all the truss bracing that we have to get out of the way for the spray foamers. So we'll have all of our bracing to put back in, but that is it's looking like we're making some progress out here for real. So tomorrow we will have our plumbers here, and they're going to start installing the boiler, which is back here. So I think this is the same boiler they installed in the house when we did that replacement in the house for the in-floor and for the hot water. I believe this is 150,000 BTU boiler, and they got all the stuff, the pumps and everything to install that for tomorrow. Our electrician was out today, and we got our temporary power. So this feeds, I'll show you in a second, but it goes up there into the field and ties into the circuit for the horse waterers. There's a heating element in those things that keep the water from freezing in the winter. So this is our temporary power for them to get the boiler installed, and then we're looking at doing a actual temporary power of running a feed from here out to the other barn and getting somewhere around 100 amp service out to here, which will allow me to do what I'm doing right now, but won't give me any future potential for growth until the power company comes and installs their actual line for real. So there's the back corner of the building. I got a little bit of wire here going out to here. So here is a horse water. I think we have 6 of these on the property, but they all have water connection and the power connection for the heating element. So pretty easy and quick to just go whoop and get some power into there for at least the boiler, electronics, and for the circulation pump for now. Now the actual power service that we're going to have installed, or we're hopefully planning to have installed at some point, would be a dedicated 400 amp service to this barn from the street. So it'll be a brand new underground service that they'll bring in and run all the way up to here and set a ground transformer kind of like over there in that fence line and do the final run to the building from here. So I was originally planning on just using generators to run my equipment out here as needed. My original thought was that it would only be a few months until they were out here doing the service, but there is a 400-day lead time on transformers, and it doesn't sound like they have a whole lot of ability to get things done. Like maybe they have too many things going on. So they say they'll kind of check back in spring to see where things are at. So I'm kind of anticipating it might be like a solid year from inception to actually getting a service installed. So I'm looking at doing an actual feed line from the barn, which is gonna be an expensive piece of wire, but I figure if I'm gentle with it, when I'm done, I can dig it up and resell it and make some money back at least. So the money I would have spent on a generator, I'm spending on a wire. I like the actual feed though, because it's far more convenient than a generator, and if I need to have more power for something, I can always add a generator to the arrangement here. So I will see you tomorrow. Donovan will be here. We're going to try and get some of the trim details knocked out outside if it's not raining, which is probably going to be. The lift is going back tomorrow, so that'll be finally out of my life. And the plumbers will be here getting that boiler rocking and rolling and whatnot. Oh, I also forgot to mention, the natural gas line for that boiler is supposed to come in with the electric line. So I'm not going to have natural gas either. So we're running it off of propane. So I have a temporary propane service coming for that boiler as well. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. Solve the problem. Move on with your life. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. That's what we're doing. Since the door is not coming for a few more weeks, we are sealing up the entrance here with some of the extra foam that's underneath the slab. We had a few extra sheets of that, so we're going to use that as a temporary door hole plug until the door comes in. There goes the lift. Goodbye, lift. It's been fun.
Good. Did they grab the lift already?
Yeah, he walked it out. Like, took the controller off the platform and was walking alongside.
There's that, isn't there?
I didn't even think, I guess you could do that. Yeah. The whole time I was here, I never thought, you know,
I didn't. Until you
just
said it, I'm like,
get off the platform and look and walk around with it.
Let's see if I can not hit the camera.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
Very close. Good?
Yeah.
You're going to be trying to keep eating this thing, and then those garage doors are going to show up. You're going to rip this down to put those doors in.
We're installing it so the door can be completely installed before this comes down.
So he says now.
I already know that. I put the garage doors in before.
Oh, good.
Then he puts it in upside down. Oh my god. He puts it in upside down.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can deal with that.
So there is our temp door for now. The bottom panels could come off fairly easily, or at least, you know, one side or something. I can stick things through the door with the forklift if I need to move anything in there in the next few weeks. The lead time on that door was like, I think 14 weeks or something. We ordered it back in August, the same time we ordered everything for the building. All the wood and steel and everything. So one thing Donovan did that I thought was pretty darn smart, he knows what he's doing. Hey, my phone's ringing. So he set this up with the foam and the framing on the exterior side of the opening. That way when we come back and do the actual garage door install, the whole door, the hardware and everything gets mounted to the inside of the opening. So we'll be able to install the door and leave this in place. So it'll be nice and warm in here for the install. Once that door is done and completely installed, then we can pull the panels and be totally done with that. While we're in here, let me show you how far the plumbers got today, getting the boiler hooked up. So this should be pretty familiar for everyone who's been following the home renovation, because this is exactly the same system as we installed in the house. So we have this 150,000 BTU boiler here, and we got a pump and expansion tank down here. The only difference with this system is this tank here. So we're running all antifreeze out here. So if the system needs a little more, it can pull from this reservoir, and it takes care of it by itself. Tomorrow, they have a couple little things to do. They need to get the condensate line outside so it can drain, and then they need to install the vent pipe up and out the wall. But other than that, they're done, which is great. And this is where I don't know if I said that already, this is where the electrical panels will go, eventually, whenever that happens. And boom. The boiler is installed and operating. We got the temporary propane tank delivered just in time for our nice snowfall here. So as I mentioned, this boiler is exactly the same as the one we did in the house, and Mike did a really nice job explaining the system and how it works with all the different components and everything back in one of the home renovation videos. So I'll leave you a link to that if you want to learn more about this boiler. But one of the nice things with this particular unit is it has the ability to do several different things. So it can do the in-floor heat. That's one of the things it can do. You can also add on an indirect water heater, which is what we have in the house. So if I wanted to add hot water out here, I could do that with this boiler. It can also do a third function. So it can do a booster heater. So in the house, we're going to be using that with a toe kick heater. But in here, what I could do is have this boiler running a heater inside of here to heat the airspace, which would just be a radiator with a fan on it. So if I wanted to use the floor to just maintain a holding temperature, like a lower temperature than I want it to be when I'm out here working, I could have a booster come on and heat the air temp up for the time I'm in here if I want. Or I can use that circuit to run something else, like a wood drying kiln thing, if I wanted to. So that boiler can serve many different purposes, which is kind of a nice thing to have with this. So let's talk a little bit about pricing with the in-floor heat. It was the most expensive option that we looked at. We looked at 3 different heating methods. We looked at unit heaters, which are like the seal-mounted hot air blower things. I had them at the warehouse. They're just like seal-mounted furnaces. Essentially, they're forced air units. To do this space, it'd be about $6,000 or so for unit heaters. We also looked at doing radiant tube heaters. So those are like the round little things with the reflective top thing that you can see mounted on ceilings. Those things are kind of nice too because they radiate and they heat by radiation. So they warm objects and those objects warm the environment. So that's another option. That was $12,000. And then the in-floor heat with the boiler and the PEX and everything is $18,000. So I had never experienced in-floor heat before moving here and having the garage space that is now my shop, and that has in-floor heat. And having had that now, I would never want anything else. So that's why we went with the in-floor heat in here. It provides such an even warming heat that I can't go back to anything else, and definitely can't go back to forced air. So how in-floor heat works is we have all of the loops here. These are all those PEX lines that are inside the concrete that we placed on top of that insulation. And all that fluid gets circulated inside of the slab, which then heats the slab. So the slab itself is a giant radiator. We have 50-something yards of concrete in here, which is a giant thermal mass and will resist thermal changes. So it does take a while to heat up, but it also takes a long time to cool off too. And because that mass is so giant, it provides a really even and uniform heat source. So it's kind of like a giant thermal battery, which radiates heat upwards, which, as far as someone working in the space, it is so drastically different to have the slab actually heated than being in a room where just the air is heated. Because in a room with the air heated, like in my old shop, you'd be warm up here kind of like this, like your body would feel kind of warm, but then your feet would be freezing because you're standing on something that's literally sucking the heat out of you, which is not very comfortable. But in a space like this where the floor is heated, the heat's coming up, you're literally getting heated through your feet. It's a very different experience, like altogether. So the biggest thing for me that I noticed when I moved into my new shop was I didn't need to have the actual air temperature anywhere near as hot as I did with the forced air unit in my old shop because it just felt warmer. Now, as far as the installation goes, the boiler has actually been running for a week now. I've been kind of watching it and seeing what it does. We have the thermostat set to 50 right now, and the current temperature outside is 25, so we have a 25-degree delta, roughly. The boiler kicks on 2 to 3 times a day right now to maintain the current temperature in here, which I think is pretty darn good. I think having a full thermal envelope with the insulation literally under the slab, up the walls, up the roof, and all the way around, it's a complete thermal envelope. It seems to be working really, really nicely. Now, one thing I'm sure someone's going to mention is that, oh my gosh, all the heat's going to get trapped up there. And yes, it will. But the nice thing about having it open like this is I can install a circulation fan up there, and it's completely out of my way. It's way the heck up there. I don't have to worry about it. So that's my plan, at least, is to put a fan in. Probably won't happen this year, but a circulation fan would help blow that air back down. I definitely noticed that at the warehouse with those 24-foot ceilings there and the unit heaters in the ceiling. You take something down off the pallet rack, and it's like 90 degrees. The thing you take down is so hot compared to the temperature at ground level. So still, you know, a little snowy. That's for sure. So the building is insulated and conditioned, and it's getting very close to being actually a usable space. And the next episode or episodes or whatever, I'll be trenching for the temporary power. We'll be installing the garage door, and then the concrete guys can come back and seal the floor. So I'm going to wait until the door is installed before they do the sealing. That way I can get all my stuff out. Hopefully the weather's okay. I can get everything out. They can seal the floor, and then I can put things away where they're supposed to go, because right now everything's just scattered all over the place. So, like, for instance, I can set my pallet racks up, and then as I bring stuff back in, I can put the stuff directly onto the rack and never have to move them ever again. So I think that's gonna do it for this one. It's kind of chilly out here. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the barn thingamabobber or anything or whatever, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, I'm gonna go inside where it's warm, and happy woodworking.